My name is Neil Raymer. I'm out of the Macon location. I'd like to thank everybody for attending the Fall Operations Center Harvest Prep. And I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So first off, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or chat your question, and Gina will either answer it or ask one of us, and we'll go ahead and talk about it just whenever. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and start off with client farm and field information and the kind of structure that we typically use, or I typically use. So first off, we'll go over here to the fields icon. And as you can see, this is our Side and Stricker Precision Demo account here. And you can see basically all our client farm and fields here on the left is Side and Stricker Demo is the client. The farm's going to be, for in this instance, Macon or Mexico 4-H building, and then front grass. Typically, and it depends on your operation, if you're a custom applicator or a custom guy, whether you'll have a client farm and field may be different, but it's important to make sure all these are cleaned up and that your client farm and field information are correct from the beginning. If they're not correct, we'll go into it here in a minute, and we can, I'll show you how to fix that. Just some general stuff in here. We'll run through some of the basics. As you can see, the little fields icon pulls up a list of your fields on the left side. You can hit the summary tab, and that's going to go ahead and show us our seeding summary for 2017. Then you can hit this drop down and see your harvest summary as well. And then you can change crop season. So the tractor icon, this is going to show us our equipment. This account has a lot of equipment in it, so basically all you have to do is hit the drop down and you'll see your combines. This is your jobs icon. We won't be talking about that too much today. So next thing I want to point out is the next button over here, the square with the 4 little squares, our tools icon. We'll go ahead and click on that. And this brings us to a whole bunch of tools or apps. We are going to go ahead and go into the Land Manager app here. That's the one that we'll be in for a little while here, and this is going to be where we can go in and edit our client farm and field, edit boundaries if we need to, add guidance lines if we need to, and so on and so forth. So as you open this, and this is new, we recently just got this tool this spring. So as you open this, you can see here in the middle we have our client farm and field information. If you go ahead and hit this eye, it'll give you the ability to edit and see some of the information on that field. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. On the left here, this little filter icon pops out a filter. We can go in and just see the Side and Stricker Demo, and we can just choose specific farms over here as well. So we're going to go ahead and go to the West Farm for now, and then all fields. You can also go in and filter whether it has a boundary or if it's inactive. You can toggle those on and off as well. So as I was saying with client farm and field structure, so we want to add a new field. We can go in here. I'll show you again, hit the create new plus sign. You can see it pops up field, boundary, and track. We're going to start with field. Go ahead and hit field. It gives you options here in the middle. And this is where you would choose your client. So we're going to go ahead and just use Side and Stricker Demo. If you wanted to add a new client, you can just hit add new and just type it in, and then you'll continue on down. For now, we're just going to go Side and Stricker Demo. And then the farm, we'll just do North Farm for now. And then enter a field. And then all you do is hit save. And now you have a new field. You can also go in and create a boundary and put some other information on that. Next thing is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to put a boundary around a field that has some coverage. So you planted a field this spring, doesn't have a boundary, it's in the fields list. As you can see, this field right here does not have any boundary. The guidance lines will show up, but it doesn't have any boundary. And this field here has multiple boundaries. If you were to check mark this, it would show us the boundary on the screen. But the main thing is here, we're going to use our coverage to go ahead and create a boundary. So River Quarter is our field name. We want to go ahead and go back up to create new. We're going to go into boundary. You can hand draw. Go ahead and draw a boundary around just by using a polygon and picking your points and draw a boundary. Or you can use previous coverage. So we know we planted this field this spring. So we're going to go ahead and go into previous coverage here, previous operation. We got to select the field. So I'm going to go ahead and type in river. And you can see River Quarter here. And then we're going to hit next. First off, we want to name the boundary. I'm just going to use 2018, just the season. And this one here is replant. We're not going to use it. The April 13th to 16 date. Hit save. You can see in the background, you can kind of grab it and pan around what the boundary looks like. I'm going to go ahead and go in to edit and then edit boundary. And here you can see the boundary itself. What I like to do is go around the edges and look at the boundary and make sure it's right or close to being right. And you can see here I have this little jag in my boundary. If you click on the inside of that boundary, it gives you these points, and you can drag and drop these points however you want. So usually I'll go ahead and clean that up as I go. You can see this little triangle, this little jag here. If you actually click the white dot over here on the right, it says delete points. We can delete that point, and it'll go ahead and round our edge out for us. I typically do this all the way around the edge of the field so that it cleans that up. If you don't clean that up and you use boundaries in your planting operation, that boundary will be there and it will shut your planter off next year. The same way with your combine this fall. So we'll go ahead and just finish deleting these points. And you can do multiple points, delete those, as well as we have this ditch that runs clean up through here. Over here on the right, you can see it says select points. You have to have the boundary selected in order to do this, but go ahead and select. You can draw a polygon around all the points you want to delete. You can see it highlighted all the points black. We're going to click delete points, and that's going to clean that up for us. Now, this field doesn't have, but if there was an internal boundary, say there was a wet spot, actually I'll just go ahead and show that to you, and we'll come back to this one. Just hit done, we'll hit save, and that's going to save everything we did. Exit out, and you can exit out. It'll take us back to our tools. And then we're going to go back to the map icon over here. You can see this field right here has little pink triangle here in the middle of it. And there's a tree in this one as well, so it's got a pink tree in it. We're going to go ahead and go into our field analyzer, and I'll show you why that's there when you generate a boundary from coverage. So on the bottom, we're going to use our timeline. We're going to scroll back to when that field was planted, and you can see that was probably a wet spot. It was probably wet down here, and obviously there's a tree right there. So what we can do, I'll go back out. This is a quick way to get to Land Manager if you have a field already established. We'll go ahead and click that little icon there. We can go ahead and zoom in and just click on the field. It's going to pop up. We're going to hit edit. We're going to edit the boundary. And you can zoom in, and all you have to do is select that interior boundary and delete it. And now, in a dry year, I'm going to say that spring was wet, so they didn't plant that. In a dry year this year, particularly, we would have been able to plant that, so he's probably going to want to delete that out, or else it will shut his clutches off. Say he removed this tree, we're going to delete that, and now that planter won't shut off whenever you go over where that tree used to be. All these blue lines are guidance lines from, I would assume, harvest or planting. But I'll show you how to make a guidance line here on a cleaner field that doesn't have all these lines here. So now that we deleted our interior boundaries that are going to mess up our clutches, we'll go ahead and hit done. We'll hit save. And that's the boundary that we're going to use in the planter next year. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my filter. I'm going to hit all fields here. I'm going to uncheck that one and go to west field again, or I'm going to go to river quarter. And we're going to show you how to draw a guidance line. So I went ahead and clicked on that field. I'm going to hit edit. Actually, that's the wrong way. We need to create new here. So we're going to create new and then hit track. You can only do straight track right now. I don't know if they are going to put curve tracks in here or not, but as it is right now, we can only do straight tracks. Well, once again, we have to select our field, so we're going to work it in the river quarter. I'll type in river, select it. You can put your implement track space again. We're going to say 40 feet for our planter. And then basically, you can see my cursor change to a plus. All you have to do is drag and drop. Over here on the right, you can edit this. Say, I just wanted this direction, so I had an idea. I can hit true 90 as my heading, and I have a straight east-west line. If that's not quite what you want, you can drag and drop it wherever you would like it to be. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and hit done. You're going to name that track. So if you plan to use this from year to year, it'd be a good idea to name it something that makes sense from year to year. So I'm going to go ahead and put EW, and I'm going to call it planter. A lot of guys have different formats that they like to use, a lot simpler or more simple formats. Typically, this is what I like to use, is just east-west, and then it's my planter pass. Or if I had a combine and I wanted to do the combine pass in a straight track, I would name it combine on that spacing. Go ahead and we'll hit save here. We'll go ahead and exit here, and you can see that line showed up. This will show up in our screen next spring, or this fall if it need be. So next, we're going to dive into some of the information, cleaning up some information. So say we probably won't use that field. Actually, yeah, we will. So say you were planting this field and you forgot to change your variety. You get in there, you plant the whole field, and you realize you didn't change it. Or you get in, you run out of seed, the seed tender's got seed on it, rain's coming, you don't want to have to change it out. So we'll go ahead and we'll go into our field analyzer. You can see here, we're going to see what varieties were in that field. You can see that we split the planter. You zoom in, this is where we started in this field over here. We ran over to the east. So the left side of the planter is that D number, and then the right side is going to be that 197. So we can edit these varieties and make it whatever we want it to be. So if we go ahead and hit the pencil, I'll show you again, a little quick there. There's a pencil icon right here. You can change your crop season. You can change your crop type, whatever you want it to be. You can also change your varieties. So if you hit this drop down, if you have varieties entered into your products list, all your varieties will show here. You can see as I scroll through there. So we're going to go ahead and choose that Pioneer number everybody likes. And then we're going to leave this one the same. And we'll hit save. And now you can see that it put that Pioneer number on the inside of our planter there. So that's just how you go back and do some editing. If there was a mistake in the field, if forgot to change it to soybeans from corn, we can do that as well. Those are not soybean numbers, but it'll be fine. Actually, it changes it completely. So if you wanted to, as well, going off of this, if you noticed your number was not in the list, we can go ahead and add that. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. We're going to go ahead and exit out of everything and go back to our main page here, our maps page. And then we're going to go back into tools. In tools, we have the product manager. We'll go ahead and go into there. And this is going to be where all our varieties and our chemicals are going to be that show up in our screen, our active or available varieties and chemicals. As you can see, we have a bunch of different varieties and a bunch of different chemicals in here. You can filter them so you can see for sure what chemicals you have. And scroll down and you can see all your numbers and your varieties. You can also filter them over here as well. But for varieties, if you didn't have the number in there, you're in the middle of the season, you got a number just to finish out or a new number to try, you can hit add product. Go in here to select category, add variety, crop type, and we're going to be working with corn. And then it's a Pioneer number that we're missing. You can scroll down through the list here, or you can type in the exact number. So like this P1745, you can just type in P1745, and if it's already available in the list, it'll pop up. If it's not, it won't pop up. So we can go ahead, it is there, so we're gonna hit that. It'll add it to our cart, and we can go ahead and keep choosing other numbers as well. Once we get all the numbers we want, we can hit next. And this is going to be a little summary of our varieties. It's kind of a double check. You can make sure everything looks right, and we'll hit save if it is right. And that'll go ahead and put these numbers out here so you can choose them. We're going to go back in here real quick. So if you don't have, or you couldn't find your number, it's not uncommon. New numbers, sometimes this doesn't refresh as often. We'll go ahead and, I don't even think you have to do this, but scroll down to the bottom. You can see here you can't find what you're looking for. We'll go ahead and hit that. And you can do this for chemical or variety. We're going to go ahead and do variety. And this is going to be your number. So I don't know. We're going to choose our crop type. And then our brand. And then we'll hit save. You can see it put that number over here on the right. You hit save again. That's going to add that number to our list here. You can also go in and edit the number. If you noticed it's not right or not correct, you can go in and edit it and hit save again. All you have to do is click on your number. Same way with the chemical as well on that. You can go in and change your EPA number, form, liquid, herbicide. So once we get all of our products in here right, make sure our client farm and field information is right. We're going to go ahead and make sure our measurements on our equipment are right. So you got a new combine this year. This one's an X690. We can go into that, check the offsets, scroll down through here. This machine has no offsets. So we're going to go ahead and hit edit. Scroll down, you can see what the offsets are. We're going to go out and measure it, write it down, and put in our offsets. Whoa, that's a lot. I don't know if these are right or not, just off the top of my head. Once you get all your offsets in, you can hit save. And then these offsets will show up in your display whenever we send the setup file to the machine. Same way with your corn head. We'll go ahead and click the corn head, go to offsets. You see there's no offsets in here. Our physical width, the implement width is not right for 16C, as well as our row spacing and row width. So we're going to go ahead and hit edit. And here again, we're going to put in our measurements. C will always be 0 for the most part, unless you have an issue. Don't write these measurements down, they're not correct. So we'll go in here, we'll change our rows. Make sure this is 30 inches. Then we should be good to go. We'll go ahead and change this to 40 feet just because. So now our track spacing and everything is going to show up correct in our screen. You can do this for a platform or a draper as well. It'll be the same layout. You'll have your A, B, and C, and D. Go ahead and put those measurements in. And then down here at the bottom, you'll have your physical width, implement width, and track spacing. You won't have a row width. And you'll just change it to whatever, for however wide, depending on when you want to leave a little overlap or not. Hit save. All right, so we've got our equipment updated, or some of it anyways. The next thing, we need to go ahead and make a setup file for the fall. So we're going to go into tools again. We're going to find the Setup Builder app. I'm going to click on that. We're going to start a new file. You can see our options here for the spring, maybe a little fall tillage. We're going to do harvest. We're going to leave include variety locator check mark. Go ahead and click get started. So first thing, over here on the left, you're going to see all our products. For this instance, we can just click select all because we know all our products are right. You could go through here and uncheck these herbicides and fertilizer, but it's really not going to matter because in the screen you're going to be in the harvest tab. So these won't show up in the list anyways. In equipment, we're going to go down through here. Since we have so much that's going to clutter up our screen quite a bit, ideally we'll just go through here and check mark all the things that apply. Depending on if your screen moves from machine to machine quite a bit, and you're going to do some fall tillage, you might want to go ahead and put your tractors in there with your tillage pieces, or even a sprayer for some fall spray. But basically, you'll go through here and check everything that you want. Once you do that, we're working our way across the top here. So we did our products, got our equipment. We're going to go to fields. Scroll down through here. You can see this field here says choose crop on the right side. So this field has 2 crops planted in it, corn and beans. Ideally, you're going to choose the one you want your variety locator file to work on. It's not working, so typically you would hit this drop down and it'll give you an option between corn or soybeans. You check mark corn, it would say corn right here, and that's the crop that we would use with our variety locator. So we're going to go ahead and just do all these fields for now. There we go. We had to check mark the field actually. Once we've done that, we'll go ahead and choose an operator. Once we've chosen our operators, we need to go over to the right here, and we will go ahead and name the file. I'm just going to call it Fall 2018. We need to choose our display format. So here we have a list of our displays, 2600, 2630. If the machine is capable and has an active Connect subscription, it will automatically send this file to the machine. You don't need a flash drive, it'll automatically send it. And at 2600, that's not possible or capable, so we will go ahead and have to download that onto a card. On 1800, same thing. We're going to hit create file. It's going to pop up with a summary. What this is doing is basically making this in a readable format for your display type for like a 2630. You can see here it's taking out characters and shortening it up if the number or the name is too long. Scroll down through here, make sure everything looks right so you'll be able to use it. Hit finish. If everything looks fine, you can see here it's telling you basically it'll be in your files shortly. You can hit this and it will take you to the files, or you can hit OK. We're going ahead and hit OK, and I'll take you to where that file will show up now. Like I said before, if you have a piece of equipment with JD Connect on it, it will automatically be in the screen. It may take a little bit of time depending on your cell coverage, but typically it'll show up within the next 5–10 minutes. So it said it was in our files. You can see here in the tools. Again, in the tools here, we're going to go to files, and here's that new, or our fall zip file ready to be saved. Over here on the right, it's important if you have a 2600, you want to make sure you choose the 2600 file whenever you save it to the card. If you choose 2630, obviously that's not going to work. So for instance, I'm going to run through as if you're saving it to a flash drive or to a 2600 card. You need to hit this arrow here and use Data Manager. And what that's going to do, it's going to send it down here. We'll click on it. And you can't see this for some reason. But basically, it'll walk you through. You'll choose your card path, whether it's an E drive or the D drive or whatever drive. You'll select that and you'll hit transfer, and it will send it to that card and be on that card or that flash drive. And that's how you get it on the flash drive. Pretty simple. Just check mark it, hit the download button, select which way, and it will automatically open Data Manager as long as it's on your computer. Also, we'll go ahead and cover one other thing here. Some of you guys are working with agronomists, or you have other partners that you want to be able to see your My John Deere or the data that's coming in. So we're going to go ahead and go into Team Manager. And this is where we'll go to create partnerships or add staff or remove staff. You can see here our demo account has a lot of different partners or staff. You can see over here on the right the type of access they've been granted, whether they have any or have all the access or just very limited access. You can filter them out by just clicking staff or partners on the left-hand side. We'll go ahead, if you want to add somebody, so you have an agronomist that's working with you and he wants to be able to see your harvest information so you can go back in and put fertilizer back on with a prescription. We can go in and add partner. And basically here, it's just telling you you want somebody else to see your information, and all you do is put in the email address. You'll hit next. You go through and you'll choose what levels of access you want them to see. So I'll just go ahead and put mine in there just for now so we can see the next step. And here you can see the different levels to the partnership of access. So going down through here, equipment, say you're working with an agronomist, he may not be or need to see this, but it'd be a good idea just in case your Connect runs out and he needs to get your data. He might be a good idea for him to be able to see that, because he'll still be able to see your equipment with Access plus RDA, but he won't be able to see any agronomic data. Again, down here, some staff information. You can choose certain fields down here. So this is going to be where your data permissions are at. Over here to the right, you can go through here and you can do all fields, or you can just choose certain fields. So you're working with an agronomist for the first time, you just want him to see one particular field that you're going to have him do one prescription for you for. You can go ahead and either send them all everything or just one particular, uncheck everything, and just do the one field. And we'll hit next. It's going to say this, hit finish. And then it'll go ahead and it's going to send him an email. You can see here it says pending. It's going to send him an email, and then he'll have to go into the email and accept it and sign into his My John Deere account for it to be complete. And that's how you add partners and staff. But once he does that, he'll be able to see everything you let him see. Go ahead and exit out of there. Also, I want to touch real quick on Boundary Generator. It works okay, as long as it's one season. If you have a screen with multiple years data on there and you're starting off fresh with Operations Center, I would not use this, because it's going to draw a boundary for each season, each field name. If the field names are not cleaned up or haven't been cleaned up, it's going to go and it's going to draw multiple boundaries in that same field. So just be aware of that. Get with your AMS person at your location you work out of or go to typically, and they can get you lined out as far as that goes, or just call Gina. That's really about all I think I was supposed to cover today. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Gina, and we'll get this wrapped up. What?
If you guys had any questions, you guys can go and unmute and ask them now. If you haven't already, go ahead and send your name and address on the chat, just so we can keep track of who was here, keep things a little bit cleaner on our side. So.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
When you got ready to say that to the card or your USB, you had to select how you want to save it as a data manager. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and run through that one more time here. So we created that file in Setup Builder, and it sent it to our files here where we're at now. I'll go ahead and just choose that 2600 file again. It didn't matter whether it's 2600 or 2630, it's the same process. So we'll go ahead and you can see here, share files, download. We can send files to equipment as well here. If you notice, they didn't automatically send, and then archive, reprocess, upload. But we want the one with the arrow pointing down. That's going to be our download. You can do it as a zip file, or you can do it with Data Manager. Typically, I've found Data Manager is a lot easier as far as on the card or the flash drive, because it's an automated process. It basically does everything for you. And I can't show you that because I don't know why for sure, but
You just have to share the different type of screens you're looking at.
yeah, but I can't get down to share screen. Oh, here we go. I might be able to go ahead and show it to you.
I need to click on it first. Click here.
I'll go ahead and open that up and see if we can get this to share so you can see the next steps. Yeah, it's not working. I don't know. We'll try this again here. Yeah, here we go. So you can see here, this will pop up. It won't be a full screen. It'll just be small. But we'll go ahead and hit this drop down, and you can see your different drives on your computer. We can hit browse and scroll down here, and it'll show it in here. I don't have a flash drive in my computer, but it'll show it right here where your drives typically are. You can select the drive, hit OK, and it'll go ahead and save it to your card or your flash drive. And then all you have to do is unplug it and plug it back into the plug it into your screen and upload it like you normally would, I guess. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that answered it. Yeah, I didn't know which one you were supposed to pick, but I guess it's really best to pick the data manager one.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay.
Just so you know, I'll go ahead and walk through. So Data Manager, you can actually download in the tools. So we're in the tools here. There's actually a Data Manager icon, and you'll just click on it. I already have it on my computer, but you double click on it, and it just basically walks you through how to download it to your computer. And then, like on my computer, it'll save a desktop or an icon to your desktop, and then that's where it'll be whenever you want to. It'll automatically do everything as far as that goes. So, all right. Any other questions? All right. Has everybody, all our customer participants, put their information in the box? Make sure you do that so we can get your credit for you. We're going to go ahead and stay online here for a little longer in case any questions arise, but other than that, we'd like to thank you for dropping in for this webinar. Also next week, we're going to have another one on the 23rd, same time, I believe. Yeah, it's up there on the screen for you. Feel free to attend that as well. We're going to go over screen setup, cleaning up a screen, initial setup on the display, like I said. We're going to go over other things like row sense, client, farm, and field, how to set a yield map on your background map, make sure it's set for documentation, make sure your equipment's set up on the screen, and layout manager, make sure your home pages are set up right for a Gen 4, as well as a 2630 or 2600. We're also going to go over some calibrations in the screen, like how to do the vibration calibration or a moisture calibration, yield calibration, as well as a TCM. And then we're also going to go over how to get the data out of the combine into Operations Center using wireless data transfer. So another good one coming to you next week.